Hello and welcome to Talking Tolkien. Today I wanted to have a quick look at this book. I wasn't intending on doing a video about it, but I've had a look over it the last couple of days and it's pretty amazing, so I thought it'd be worth just making a quick video to show people what this book actually is, because I didn't really realise until it turned up what it was. I actually ordered it like months ago when it was first announced, but there wasn't much information. I knew there was a Tolkien exhibition going on in Oxford, but there wasn't much information about it, so just before it was released I thought, no, I'll cancel the order. So I cancelled the order and then felt regret, so I reordered it, and I'm so glad I did because it's such an amazing book. Let's have a look at it. So this is itself. It's big, it's a good size. They call them like coffee table books, that's what it looks like, but yeah, it's a really good size. Cover looks really good. That's one of Tolkien's images on the front, and we can see there. So inside, what this is, it's designed to go along with the exhibition that's on in Oxford at the moment, but I just wanted to have a look at the contents page here. So it's broken up into a number of different chapters depending on the catalogue. What's really cool is you've got these essays by all of the main noted Tolkien experts who are working at the moment, and they're really interesting on their own. But what I think is absolutely amazing is how much information and how many actual like photographs, pieces of artwork that are actually in this, all to do with Tolkien. I'm not going to show you them all because half of the joy of the book is just how much is in here and some of the surprises that you get. But a couple of things that I found really interesting. So there's a lot of biographical information and photos, which even though like I've read Humphrey Carpenter's biography, it's really good, but just a lot of these photos and stuff really give some extra insight into it, going right back to his days growing up in South Africa. Something that I've never seen most of these photos myself, and it's really interesting. And then most excitingly for me, as someone who loves his early work, going right back to the Book of Lost Tales. If you don't know what that is, I've got some videos where I harp on about it at length. But basically it's some of the really earliest things that Tolkien wrote which were based in the world that was going to become Middle-earth. And what's really interesting about those is he based a lot of it in a framing device of using the land that the elves were at. Toleracer was going to become the Lonely Island, which was going to be England. That was what it was all based on. So it had a rooting in ancient English mythology, which ultimately was what he was trying to create. But anyway, yeah, in this book we've got this, which is the actual textbook, the cover of the textbook that he wrote that initial story in, which I've read about. Christopher Tolkien mentions it in the Book of Lost Tales 1, the first part of the history of Middle-earth. But I never thought I'd actually see the book itself. And this was one that his Tolkien's wife Edith, she wrote down the first story, The Cottage of Lost Play. And this is the first page there that we can see from that story. So it's just absolutely fascinating to see it. And that's what kind of stuff is in this book. As I say, I'm not going to go into it all, but there's lots of Tolkien's writing and drawings. It's just amazing to see this stuff, which I never thought that I would see. So the last thing I'll mention is there's a section on fan mail that he used to get back in the early days when Lord of the Rings was first becoming big. And one of the things in here is from an author called Terence Pratchett, who'd obviously later go on to be a famed writer himself, Terry Pratchett, writing a letter to Tolkien. He's not saying how amazing Lord of the Rings is, but he was saying about here Farmer Giles of Ham, the story that was released in the 60s, how much he felt that story was really connected to it. So there we have it. I'm not going to go into this in massive depth because honestly the thing, if you're any fan of Tolkien, just go out and buy this and enjoy yourself going through some of the stuff that's in here, because it's absolutely phenomenal. I can't recommend it enough. So that's Tolkien, Maker of Middle-earth. That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.